about 1 year in office of this current administration, as well as subnationals, where we have governors, some of the governors also, about 28 of them, also marking 1 year in office. Joining us to talk about this is from the United States via Zoom is Director Contacts and Engagements for Lucky Ayedatiwa Campaign Organization, Foot Soldiers Independent Council or Campaign Council, Dr. Oludare Marindoti. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Veronica. Thanks, Uncle Sam, for having me. I want to apologize. I should have been here earlier, but I slept like Poseidon.
Not a problem. You're human. Anyway, quickly now, 1 year in office of not just the president and his vice, but also subnationals. There's been mixed reactions with regards to that. We saw a few days ago the federal government taking the 36 state governors to the Supreme Court because of their role at not entrenching democracy as it should with regards to the financial state of local government, such that developments can trickle down to that level. What say you with regards to how far the subnationals have fared in the last 1 year?
Thank you. To me, in terms of this is the first thing from the Ministry of Justice that I'm really happy about, because democracy has to be representative. The local government people have to have their autonomy. We cannot have a situation whereby the local government chairmen are coming to prostrate for governors and no, they are supposed to be accountable to the people, not the governor. You can take the case of New York, where the last administration, the governor and the mayor of New York, they were not on the same page, even though they were from the same party. So that is very essential, and that would also go a long way in even entrenching democracy all across our National Assembly and all of that, making all the councillors and the councilmen, much more responsible. But if I was the state governor, what I would have done is to also take the federal government to court for more representative, democracy, because, tit for tat, give us also our own much more autonomy that we want, and then we come to a negotiation, and then they can fast track the restructuring of the constitution that they want, so that they can give the governors a lot more power to manage their own security and all of that, because they can say that like it is you, federal government, that is leading the way. That's why we are behaving like this. But I feel I'm so happy that move was initiated. I know it will definitely end in the negotiation. I think it will. But I think that the the governors should also use this as an opportunity to ask for from the federal government for autonomy and independence.
Right. Yes, it looks like what the federal government is looking for in the states is constitutional justice. You have made a good point too, that we don't only need constitutional justice in the state, we need constitutional justice in the country, because if the resources are going to the state and they're supposed to be with the local government, and the local government do not get the money, then somebody is committing larceny. I know of a governor who constructed roads for all the local governments in the state, and he took credit for it, but he took their money to do it, and so on. So, I steal your money I steal your money from you in order to feed your children. What is that? So I understand what you're saying, but explain more what you mean by the states taking on the federal government.
Yes, because that we've been talking about more representative democracy. The former governor of my state, Governor Akeredolu, was so vocal, especially when it came to the areas of security, areas of resource control. Back in the days, the regions in the 1960s, what we read was that regions were more in control of their resources, and then the Western region built Obafemi Awolowo University and all of that. Normally, in the proper federal constitution, the states make money and then they give to the federal government. We have donor states, and then we have some recipient states whereby the states that are not as viable economically get more money from the federal government. So the state governors are also handicapped a little bit by the current structure, which the president has also, through the course of his career, shown an interest in intervening and changing. So since the federal government has taken the first step to definitely do because what is happening in the state is way worse than what's happening in the federal government, right? So definitely, since the federal government has taken the initial step to take them to court, I feel like the state governors should also use that as an opportunity. It is an opportune time for them to also ask for everything that they have been asking for: state policing, resource control, much more power devolved to the states. But in that what's it called? In that same frame of mind, then the federal government can ensure, because as it is right now, if they gave all those powers to the states will not give those powers to the local government. So they can both have that negotiation right now. In a place like the United States, the airports, the seaports, most of them are in control of the local government, not even the states. The states control. Texas has oil; it controls all the oil money. Arkansas just their neighbor, does not have oil; they are poor. So that is the way it is supposed to be. We should not try to restrict each state, and that is also what they have started doing with electricity. And also, the state government should seize this opportunity to negotiate with the federal government and get the autonomy that they have eternally been fighting for, that some of them have even been vocal in terms of trying to get, so that there can be a balance and, like you said, a more representative constitutional justice all across the Federation of Nigeria,
Right.
so that we can start practicing true federalism.
Right, Dr. Marindoti, because of our time, and I just want to quickly cram this question. The current administration says it's going to touch everyone, it's going to reach everyone. This governance is going to reach everyone. One of it is the student loan, which has now, taken effect. But then, while others are saying, okay, more than 120 universities will benefit from this, ASU is saying that it's just a ploy to enslave Nigeria. You studied abroad. Could you quickly, talk about this and how it's going to impact, whether positively or negatively, on those who are seeking education, very quickly?
It is always going to impact positively on people seeking education. It's also an avenue for those universities to have this money, to use to run their affairs. I was in OAU. I saw in July last year, about a year ago right now, everything was left in disrepair. It is they can think of they should do the math and do the numbers. It is not sustainable the way we are running our federal universities. When I was in OAU, the amount that we were paying for a hostel for a whole year was 2,590. Even as at then, it just doesn't make any sense. So there is no country that the most important form of education in the world is not university education. It is the primary and the secondary education. But the university education is what that makes the most of the noise. So that is why, and they are taking too much resources that the government should be putting on those very key and vital, forms of education, the primary and the secondary school way. But if they can have a form of student loan whereby you are responsible for your education in terms of more financially, then the universities can make more money. The lecturers also should be bringing in money. I mean, the lecturers bring in the money from research to fund the schools.
Dr.
So that
Oludare,
Marindoti, I think it's important.
We have to leave the conversation here now. We must thank you for your time on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, this